Cailin Clark's role in women's basketball has stirred up a lot of drama, making her pretty unpopular with some folks. But guess what? Despite all the hate, she has gotten some major support from players like Steph Curry, Shaq, and even Christie sides. Before we jump into all the juicy details, make sure to hit that subscribe button on our YouTube channel. All right, now that you're subscribed, let's get into Cailin Clark's world and the huge challenges she's facing. 1. Stephen A. Smith. Through her presence both on and off the court, Cailin Clark has truly become the face of the WNBA, consistently standing out as a voice for women in the game and backing it up with her exceptional skills on the court. Events like these have really set her apart from most of her peers and grabbed a ton of media attention for the talented young basketball player. Her skills have even caught the eye of Stephen Smith, a top legend in sports journalism.
Day one, you knew that she would only get better and better. She's averaging 17.8 points this season, 41% shooting, 33% from three-point range, leading the league in assists. Her last 5 games, Shannon, 22.5 points per game on 46.
During an exclusive interview with Clark, Steve Smith tried to draw a comparison between her and the legendary Stephen Curry, asking whether she's the female Curry or if Curry is the male Clark. Sensing the angle Steve Smith was going for, Clark skillfully redirected the conversation, choosing to stay humble about her achievements instead. While many fans appreciated her modesty, it hasn't changed the fact that she has begun to be considered one of the greatest to ever play the game. This reputation likely comes from the drama and excitement Clark brings to every game, earning her high praise from basketball legends and setting her apart from other players. 2. Paul Pierce. In the world of basketball, Paul Pierce remains a familiar face, thanks to the legacy he built during his time in the NBA. So when he made an appearance on the TV show Undisputed, he had a few things to say about Cailin Clark's talent on the court. According to Pierce, Cailin Clark's performance is the best he's seen since becoming a pro. He even claimed that no female player has ever come close, though that statement might be up for debate. Clark herself might not even agree, but Pierce wasn't finished. He went on to praise Clark, highlighting that, despite being a white girl, she hasn't just outplayed other white girls on the court, but also some of the most talented black players.
Let's keep it 100 with you. We saw a white girl in Iowa do it to a bunch of black girls. Well, of course. That made it like, oh, that gained my respect. That gained my respect.
I hear you. You're
like,
right.
That's like, oh, she didn't do this to
Even though Pierce's comment was likely well-intentioned, it quickly blew up on social media, dividing basketball fans and players into 2 camps. The first group slammed Pierce's statement, seeing it as promoting racial superiority by suggesting that black basketball players are better than their white counterparts. They argued that basketball should be all about love for the game with no room for discrimination. On the other hand, the second group defended Pierce, saying he had a point. They argued that since basketball has historically been dominated by black players, Pierce didn't mean any harm when he pointed out that Clark excelled not just among white girls, but also against some of the best black players. What do you think about Paul Pierce's statement? Drop a comment below. 3. Shaquille O'Neal. In the world of basketball, Shaquille O'Neal is pretty much a legend. His fame hasn't faded since he left the court, thanks to his ventures into entertainment and other activities. Plus, his towering height has always added to his presence. So, when Shaq, one of the greatest players ever, showed up as a guest on Inside the NBA, he managed to stir things up and get a lot of his co-hosts pretty upset with his comments.
Hey, how did it get around to Auburn in South Carolina?
Well, we beat them by 55 last night, but who's counting?
Apparently you are.
Yeah, but she's incredible. Congratulations to her and her family.
When talking about the progress in women's basketball, Shaq declared Cailin Clark as the greatest collegiate player of all time, which didn't sit well with most of the hosts. Charles Barkley, one of the show's hosts, disagreed, arguing that Clark isn't as great as other female legends like Maya Moore or Diana Taurasi. As the debate heated up, Shaq tried to ease the tension while sticking to his original stance. He acknowledged that Moore and Taurasi are amazing players in their own right, but still stood by his opinion that Clark is the best collegiate player ever. Shaq emphasized that his view should be respected, even if others might disagree.
I'm going to go on the record and say she's the best female collegiate player ever.
Ever?
Well,
I don't know about you. You
ever.
heard of Cheryl Miller,
Ever.
Maya Moore?
I said what I said. Ever.
Diana Taurasi?
I said what I said.
No disrespect.
Listen,
Cailin Clark is amazing.
This is my opinion.
Candace
I'm not
Parker?
changing it.
Nobody's ever shot it like her.
No, she's like
I
Steph
said what I
Curry.
said.
Yeah.
The interview didn't sit well with many of Caitlin's fans. They felt the hosts weren't being professional or objective, and instead seemed more focused on pushing their own opinions onto the legendary Shaquille O'Neal. 4. Kevin Garnett. After After Shaquille O'Neal finished showering Caitlin Clark with praise, many fans thought the former player's comments were over. But then Kevin Garnett stepped into the spotlight. Garnett, a former player himself, joined a podcast as a guest and made a notable remark about Clark, comparing her to Steph Curry in terms of her shooting. Since Curry is known as one of the greatest players and shooters in basketball history, it makes sense why Garnett drew that comparison. Like Curry, Clark's knack for hitting those deep three-pointers sets her apart from many of her peers in the WNBA.
I'm watching Shorty, Cailin Clark go through shit. I'm watching all, man, rookies, you're gonna go through some shit. And guess what? When you're in, when you got the bullseye on your back, when you win, it's gonna come with some shit.
Garnett also gave a big shout out to Clark for bringing so much visibility to women's basketball since she joined the Indiana Fever. He highlighted how she's helped shine a spotlight on the sport. When it comes to her scoring, the host mentioned that Clark averages 10 points per game. But Garnett had a different take. He pointed out that Clark actually averages more than 10 points per game and has even had games where she scored over 30 points. Plus, she's racked up a bunch of assists for her teammates.
I know Cailin, I know, you feel me?
I know the girls.
Man, you know what I'm saying? Shout out to Dawn Stanley too, man. The Gamecocks second year
South
in a
Carolina.
row, going fucking undefeated in the SEC.
I have watched more girl games this year.
Women's basketball, man.
That's crazy.
Is this the first time we got women's basketball ahead of men's basketball?
Many fans believe Kevin's interview settled the debate on whether Caitlin Clark is really the greatest female basketball. 5. Charles Barkley and Steph Curry. Amid the ongoing bullying that many of Caitlin Clark's fans feel she's been facing, Charles Barkley stepped in to help. Barkley, NBA Hall of Famer and commentator, advised the women who've been targeting Clark to stop being so petty.
You women out there, y'all petty, man. Hey, LeBron, you're 100% right on these girls hating on Caitlin Clark. Y'all petty, girls. I expect men to be petty.
Barkley suggested that instead of bashing Clark, the women should actually be thanking her for boosting the profile of women's basketball both in America and globally. Although Barkley did not name any specific players, many basketball fans think his comments were aimed at Angela Reese and Diana Taurasi.
We're the most insecure group in the world.
Oh, you are.
Y'all should be thanking that girl for getting y'all ass private charters, all the money and visibility she bringing to the WNBA. Don't be petty like dudes. Listen, what she's accomplished, give her flowers. Stop being petty, all you women out there. She got y'all ass charters. She bringing all y'all this money to the table.
This might be because there is noticeable tension whenever Clark faces off against Reese or Taurasi on the court. As a true fan of Clark, Steph Curry has frequently praised her performances and encouraged her fellow players to focus on healthy sportsmanship rather than getting caught up in bitter rivalries. 6. Attention to WNBA. Even though Clark has faced a lot of criticism since starting her professional career, she has been recognized for changing the game of women's basketball. She has played a huge role in boosting viewership, which gives her a leg up over past stars like Taurasi. These days, more people are tuning in to watch women's basketball games, something that was not as common before Caitlin showed up.
Y'all girls, stop being petty. Cailin Clark, thank you for bringing all that money and shine to the WNBA.
With more people tuning in, female basketball players are raking in bigger earnings and landing more deals with big sponsors, which has really raised the league's profile. Clark has been a huge part of this change. She has also made a big difference in travel conditions. Before she came along, many players had to fly commercial, which hurt their performance. Now, thanks to Clark, private charters are becoming the norm, making travel much easier for the players.
The next 2 years to provide full-time charter flight service for its team during the season. The league's commissioner announced this Tuesday in a move that addresses years of player safety concerns, let's be honest, plus delays.
Because of all the attention, Caitlin Clark has won national admiration. Fans flock to Indiana Fever games wearing her 22 jersey, hoping to see her in action and maybe even snag an autograph. It is moments like these that have made her a real favorite among her fans. 7. Cailin V Christie sides. Being the head coach of a team that produced one of the greatest female basketball players is not an easy gig, and that is exactly what Christie Sides has found herself dealing with. There are rumors that Sides and Clark often clash, thanks to Clark's huge influence on the team. While these rumors have not been officially confirmed, fans have picked up on some non-verbal tension between the two. Many fans think Sides might be feeling jealous of Clark being in the spotlight, leaving her coach role in the shadows. On the other hand, some believe Clark's fame might have gone to her head, making her more confrontational with Sides. Lately, Sides has been facing a lot of heat because the Indiana Fever has been on a losing streak. To make matters worse, a video surfaced online showing her team doing a scavenger hunt during training. Fans criticized the video, arguing that a team that is struggling with losses should be concentrating on improving their game instead of participating in playful activities. With the pressure building on Christie Sides, many fans think Cailin Clark might be her saving grace. They believe Clark should step up and help turn the team's losing streak around, which could also help save Sides' job. What do you think about the situation with Cailin Clark, Christie Sides, and other WNBA players? If you made it to the end of the video, don't forget to hit subscribe, give us a thumbs up, share with your friends, and turn on notifications so you never miss an update. Thanks for watching.